What up, Net fans? NetsBoy here, bringing you your latest in your Brooklyn Nets news. Look, there's not much to say in this video. The Nets only played 2 games. They played against the 76ers, and then they played against the Bulls. The game against the 76ers was a very frustrating game to watch. The 76ers were clearly hungry for a win. The Nets came out great that game. I think they had like a 15-point lead, or I think it was actually 20-point. And then they just took their foot off the throttle, and the 76ers made a comeback, took the lead, but the Nets were able to buckle down and win that game. And the 76ers, I believe, are still winless. So 76ers still winless. Not getting any easier for them. They're nearing, Nets territory when it comes to starts. I was a Nets fan the year that they went 0-18 to start the season and ended up winning only 12 games. And, I know exactly what's going on right now for Philadelphia 76er fans. Every game they play that they have the lead or they're winning, they find ways to lose it. So, that being said, they got to just hang in there. I believe they could, they'll be all right team. I mean, they got some talent, like some. Completely, but then after the 76ers game, they played against the Bulls. Now, I knew that Bulls game was going to be a tough one, and it basically was exactly what I thought. The Nets just got out-hustled, out-toughened, definitely beaten on the boards, which I knew was going to happen. I mean, when you're going up against Joakim Noah and Pau Gasol, two of the best rebounders, really, in their respective positions, you're a bad rebounding team as it is, you're going to get destroyed, and that's what happened. They got out-rebounded, out-hustled, and when it came down to it, the Nets were hanging around in that game, and all of a sudden in the third quarter, a big run happened, a couple threes were made, and next thing you know, the Nets lose by, I think, 18 or something along those lines. Look, the Nets, I'm not super worried yet. I mean, let's be honest, the Nets are 6-9. They're currently in the 9th seed in the East, but look, we are 15 games into the season. Last year, the Nets were 10-17, and they ended up winning 44 games, which personally I thought they should have been at least 46. And if you remember the year before that, they were 500 going into December. Going into January, and they ended up winning 49 games. I think this Nets team just needs to start trying to figure it out. I mean, when you watch this team play, there's moments when they look fantastic. They look like they got everything going. They're executing well offensively. They're making the right play defensively, making the right stop, making the right pass, doing everything that you expect them to do. But then, as soon as that happens, it seems like they just completely do the exact opposite the next possession down. And they just have to be consistent. It's the key. The key to in really all sports is how consistent can you be? You've got to be the more consistent teams are normally going to be the teams that do better. Unless they're consistently bad, then you're always gonna be bad. But the Nets to me are just this team that they just have to continue to play the way they play at sometimes in games. There's sometimes that they look great. I still think they need to do something about, rebounding. Look, either Brook Lopez has to figure out how to rebound, or they got to bring in another player, or they got to do something because they keep on getting destroyed on the boards. And look, Plumlee is not a great rebounder. He's a good rebounder, but he's not a great rebounder. Kevin Garnett used to be a great rebounder, but since he's lost some age, gotten older, he's just a good rebounder. And look, there's nothing wrong with being a good rebounder in the league. To me, a good rebounder is a guy who you can count on 8 to 10 rebounds every night. But the problem simply becomes when you go up against teams like the Bulls, which have 2 fantastic great rebounders in like Gasol and Noah, those type of guys, you need to have that type of rebounding toughness guy. Look, Reggie Evans was great when he played with the Nets. The problem with Reggie Evans is he couldn't do anything else other than rebound. So that kind of became a problem. And the truth of the matter is, the Nets just need to figure out how to rebound together. I mean, in the game against the Bulls, the leading rebounder guy was Kevin Garnett with 7 rebounds in 24 minutes. Now, that's fine. But cumulative, I mean, they only had 34 rebounds as a team. The Bulls had 50. That's a plus 16 advantage for the Bulls. That can't happen. And if there's any, I mean, that's the truth. I mean, not the Paul Pierce, but you know what I'm saying? The reason why the Nets are struggling, besides the fact that they're not making the right plays down the stretch and not playing consistent, they can't get rebounds. And that has to stop. The Nets have done a very good job turnovers-wise. They did, especially in this last game. They're taking care of the basketball like they need to do. You know, they only had 10 turnovers against the Bulls. But if you're not going to get rebounds, you're not going to win games. It's as simple as that. So I still think, you know, I said it last time, Emeka Okafor is out there. You know, I love the idea of him coming to the Nets and coming off the bench and being a high-intensity, high-rebound guy. He's going to take a lot of minutes from people like Lopez and Plumlee, but I you know what? I don't care too much anymore. As much as I like Lopez, he's not getting the job done in anything other than the scoring category. And he's making plays that, you know, his defense has been sporadic, sometimes good, sometimes bad. His scoring has been pretty good, but he can't stay on the court long enough to really make a big impact because he keeps on doing boneheaded things and making Lionel Hollins pull him. I'm a little lost for words of exactly what to, he's my favorite player on the Nets, but I'm almost to the point where it might almost be in the best interest for the Nets to trade him. And I can't believe I'm saying that because Lopez has the potential to be one of the best bigs in the game, but he's just having some trouble finding his footing. But look, it's really early in the season. So nothing should really be happening. Like I said, last year they went 10-17 before they turned their season around. The year before that, you know, they got off to a good start, but then they were 14-14, and then they turned it around. I'm not worried. 15 games into the season is not a big deal. I think the Nets will have plenty of time to figure out, turn it around. If they can get consistency from, you know, Brook Lopez, you know, consistency from Joe Johnson, only had 3 points against the Bulls. You know, some consistency coming off the bench. Teletovic didn't have a good game at all. You know, maybe consistency from Bogdanovic to every night play well and so on and so forth. You know, if they can just get some consistency, then maybe things can start falling their way. So, you know, I'm not too worried, but it's a little frustrating. You know, they're 6-9, and they really shouldn't be 6-9. I think at worst, I really think it should be the exact opposite. I think at worst it should be maybe 8-7 at worst, preferably 9 and 9-6. They should almost be flip flopped. I feel, but you know, season's young, and so you know who knows what will happen, and I think they can turn it around. So like I said, I'm not too worried. The next few games, they got a lot of games coming up the next week. They got the Knicks now. Look. The Nets played fantastic against the Knicks. We know the Knicks have been struggling a lot this season, but the Nets got to take care of the Knicks. The Knicks are 4-13. They really have been struggling. You know, Melo's having trouble, you know, staying healthy right now. If you're the Nets, you got to go into that game and play aggressive because if there's any trap game, there's a trap game for you. All right, I'm gonna say that that's a scary trap game. Because, I mean, anything can happen. When you go up against, I've always noticed this. When the Nets play the Knicks normally come to play. They didn't come to play earlier in the season, but normally the Knicks come to play. You know, that rivalry seems to ignite something between the teams. So, that's a dangerous game, but I do believe the Nets should win that game, so I'm going to say that's a win. Then the next day, they play the Spurs. Anytime you play the Spurs, you're going to lose. That's my opinion in this situation, so I'm chalking that off to a loss. But the Nets are home, and you know what? That's a type of stupid game that the Nets will somehow win. Because the games that, I don't know. That's just how the Nets work. They do things illogically sometimes. But I'm going to say that's a loss. Then Friday, they play the Hawks. Hawks are a very good team so far this season. They're 9-6. Once again, though, I think the Nets can beat the Hawks. I think the Nets are better than the Hawks. Maybe not right now, but overall, talent-wise, I think they are. I'm going to say that's a win, but I can't guarantee it. But in my personal opinion, these next 3 games, the Knicks, Spurs, and Hawks, the Nets should win 2 out of 3 of them. And if they can win 2 out of the 3 and then continue to win 2 out of every 3 games, they'll be right back to where they should be record-wise and right back into their confidence. And, like I said, the season's young, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I'm not too worried yet. If they continue to play like this come the end of December, then I'll be pretty worried. But, we'll see how things play out, and we'll see what goes on with the Nets moving forward. So, like I said, not much to talk about. This video is going very short compared to all my other ones, and that's really it. Basketball is a weird sport. We all know that, and sometimes teams get hot, sometimes teams get cold. So, like I said, to say anything about the disappointment of the start of the season, whatever, it happens. You can't look too much into it, and I'm not going to. So, keep your eyes open for the next NetsBoy episodes, and we'll see what happens. The next few games. And so until next week, this is NetsBoy signing off.